Hello, my name is Rachel Dawson, and I'm going to be presenting to you my senior project, and it is a handicap controller for one-handed people. So recently, in the video, you'll see I have two prototypes and then like other stuff that we've been working on throughout the process. So my goal for our project is to help handicapped people with one hand, and they're supposed to be operating the controller with using one hand and not the other hand. So our goal was for them to be able to comfortably play the game without having to access the other hand or like want to have access to the other hand. So we play the game like this with no problems or like any complications. So our problem statement is that handicapped people have trouble playing video games because they only have one hand. So we were trying to make it more accessible and reasonable for them to play the game without having any problems or complications. So our first prototype that we had designed is a controller. We're doing a PS4 controller, and our first prototype is like this. I'll give you all a better view of that. Um, but the prototype has popsicle sticks on the top, and then we use the cardboard box to separate the middle. So we were able to use the popsicle sticks as some sort of lever to hit the other button on the side. So while the person is using the controller with one hand like this, they're able to hit the popsicle sticks up, and then it hits the buttons on the other side, creating a force to push the buttons down and work like that. So but this hand has all access to the buttons on the right, but no access to the buttons on the left. So we also added strings to the joystick on the other side to be able to pull the joystick, and when you pull it, it moves up and down. And we have 4 strings attached to that side. So it's one pulling to the left, one pulling down. It's a little long, and then one pulling upward. So this is our first prototype that we made without using anything on Onshape or like measurements. We just threw something on the controller to see what we wanted to do when we were in the mind. This is our very first one. With that prototype, it had a bunch of complications and a bunch of difficulties because it was hard like to reach for the strings for the joystick to use, and it was harder to find something that we could stabilize in the middle. So we already knew that we wanted a lever piece in the middle to hit the other buttons on the side, but we didn't know how big we wanted it or how we didn't know any dimensions or like how tall or the width of everything needed to be. So our design approach was to use a friendly, economic, adaptable controller that could be operated with one arm. The necessary technology that we would have to use with a wide range of electronic devices. And we wanted to provide customization objects and individual preferences to everybody's ability. So we wanted the controller to be fit to everybody and not just one person. Exactly. So we wanted our controller to be able to be useful for more than one person. So if you have a bigger hand, if you have a smaller hand. So our next design was to use a glove, and we were going to use it as an attachment piece. So we will put the glove on. Well, this is what it looks like. So we will put the glove on and then attach the controller inside the rubber band that we have on here, and it would slide through like so, and it will be used as an attachment piece. So now our hand is right here, holding the controller like this, and so it will be used to like hold the controller. You're trying to find a way to hold the controller so it can be easy to move and like won't fall off the hand or anything, but that didn't work either. And then we needed to do some Onshape. So we went on Onshape and we started building circles in the middle because we were trying to find an alternative for the cardboard box in our previous prototype. So we had to find the dimensions and find which one was big and which one was too small. So I'm going to show you. First, we had one centerpiece that was too small for the controller. A centerpiece that was too big for the controller. And so when I found out that those two pieces were going to be too big for the controller and too small, we couldn't get the right ones. We decided to go for a more easier approach and something that would be more efficient to our controller, because if we had a circle in the middle, it wouldn't balance out right and it would be uneven. So then we decided to use the attachment piece idea, but instead of using the glove, we would use this shape that was created in Onshape and slide the controller through and hold it like that. but we ended up putting the controller inside the piece and understood that the controller was better sitting in the middle. So then, once we had our middle piece, we came up with this design right here, our final prototype. And I'll show you a better video of this, but it's basically just exactly like the first prototype, but with Onshape materials instead. And this is still a prototype, and it's not completely done yet, but currently we have our piece in the middle for the controller to sit in, like this, and it just goes in like that. And then on this side, we have our screws go up and down like this, and it sits in here. And then we have our piece in the middle. It isn't balanced yet, but we have our piece in the middle. And then we have this piece to put your finger in. And then we have this. So for this design, this one sits on your leg. So we will put this screw, this piece in the middle, and touch it. Like this. So now the piece on your leg, like this. Now that the controller is on our leg, it's easy to access. So now it's sitting, it's stable, and I'll put my finger, do this, and then you have to do this, and then it moves like that. And you hit the buttons up and down, and you hit the buttons, and you hit like that. After that, we have to make our design on Onshape, and then we're gonna be done. Then we have to find a way to connect it to an actual system and see if it works. Who are going to be using this solution is people with limb differences, stroke survivors, and people who suffer from arthritis, people with spinal cord injury, the gamer community, and rehab centers. Those people will be people who will be using our creation and something that we created to help the handicapped community. A couple of milestones we had during this project was finding the dimensions and working on Onshape. Those were three milestones that we had because it was hard to create what we wanted, and like the vision that we had wasn't printed out correctly on the computer, so it was like hard to keep going. And every time something printed out the wrong way or too small or too big, it was like, how can we make this actually work if none of our Onshapes are printing out how we wanted to? And with the help of Mr. Rubin, he helped us like find other things to do and other steps or different things we can do or add to our controller, so that also helped. And it was hard to brainstorm different ideas and like be creative because a lot of people already had this idea in mind, so it was hard to find something that was our own. And we also had a milestone of connecting the controller to a specific system because we don't know how we're going to get the controller to turn on or how it will connect to a system if we don't have one here at our school building, and like how will we play video games with controller. But those are milestones that we have to think about after our design is made. A lot of feedback that we got on the controller was the type of controller that we will work with, the dimensions of the controller, the diagram, and how it will work with actual people. So we're going to be the actual people using the controller. So at the STEM fair, we'll get people to like try it out and see how it works and like play with it and stuff. So that was some of the answers to the questions that we had. The controller. This is our diagrams and that we had to make or research. Some circuit board that in the controller because we were thinking about also taking the controller apart and like adding our own thing inside of it as well. This is the process. We have pictures, and this is our Onshape, and redesigning a new design again.